Yeah.
What up, world? You are in tune to More Than Sun. You know, definitely up here on the
Music playing.
yeah, music playing. Yeah, that's your nephew. Yes, your nephew's music that is playing in the background right there.
Oh, okay.
Definitely wanted to start it out with Sensei and his music. But look, check this out. You are in tune to Horns and Son here at the FFSN network. And of course, you got usual suspects, me and myself, Sensei, of course. What's poppin',
Big Sensei.
And then we got
on, guys?
the best man. We got, who's kicking it with us on the holiday tier, full of holiday tier, Big G from the Know It All, and also from his college show. What's the name of your college show again?
It's the Level Up Podcast, man.
Level Up
Level Up
Podcast.
Podcast.
Big G came on. He was like, man, I can't wait to get on and sing these Christmas carols. He said, I'm going to sing Let It Snow and Oh Holy Night. And he said he was just going to come on and be karaoke. So go ahead. Take it away.
I'm not singing none of that. What I'm singing is Dumpster Fire. Is what I'm singing. That's my song.
Look,
Dumpster Fire.
So we know Big G knows a lot about college football and the college football world. And we definitely gonna get into it, man. We, of course, Texas being one of the 4 teams that are inside of the college football playoffs this year. And we're in New Orleans already, man. We're in New Orleans. It's almost game time. But man, let's talk about these games. Let's talk about these games and let's get fired up, man. I mean, let's really get it. I want to jump into the Michigan-Alabama game right now. Big G, let's talk about it, man. What do you think are some pros for Michigan in this game as they're lining up against that Alabama defense?
Michigan is the toughest of the Final Four teams remaining. Physically tough, physically want to beat you up, want to fight you in a phone booth, wants to keep the game where it's all about hitting heads, cracking skulls, skull dragging, and tackling. That's what Michigan wants to do. I think that Michigan has the most athletic defense out of all the 4 remaining teams, too. Michigan's starting 4 defensive linemen are all first-round NFL draft picks between this year and next year, and they have 2 backups that are starting first team All-American and or first-round NFL draft picks. So that's advantage Michigan as far as if you get in a phone booth. But if you're exotic and you like to scramble and run exotic plays and run trick plays, they can be had. I'll say this about Michigan, and you guys all know that I'm a diehard Buckeye fan. They were able to shut down Emeka Egbuka, Marvin Harrison Jr., Julian Fleming, and Tate. Outside of the pedestrian play at quarterback of Kyle McCord, they still handled their business against what I consider either the number 1 or number 2 wide receiver core in the whole country.
Wait, so was that they were able to handle their business, or was that because Kyle McCord is not the guy?
No, that was Kyle McCord made 2 critical errors and 2 critical mistakes, but you still got to be the right guy in the right place making the right play. And that's what happened with Michigan.
That's smart. Mm-hmm.
And because their defensive backs they got 2 or 3 first-round NFL draft pick defensive backs. Michigan is a very good and underrated team. People don't give them a lot of credit.
I want to ask you this question because I have a brother-in-law who is shout out Hector. He bleeds blue, big blue, diehard Michigan fan. Y'all should never meet, or the world would explode. You can't do that. But I said, hey, how does Michigan win this whole thing? And he was like, honestly, we have to keep control of the game clock. We have to keep control of the game clock, win time of possession in every game. That's the only way we win. And I was like, okay.
No. Now, how Michigan wins, really, to be honest, and this is what you're going to see in the bowl game. J.J. McCarthy was hurt the last month of the season. And I have diehard Buckeyes, but I'm being honest.
Go ahead, put the gloves up. Let's see. Let's see Buckeyes. Let's see.
Y'all gonna check. Y'all gonna see these gloves. Y'all gonna see these Buckeye gloves worn on the sidelines by the players in this particular game. I got an early Christmas present.
Know-it-alls for about 2 years because he ain't never taken them off.
I got an early Christmas present from my connection with the Buckeye Nation. Coach Knowles, Coach Day, thank you guys, man, for looking out for me, man, with the sideline hat and the gloves. So, anyway, anyway, the JJ McCarthy was hurt. JJ McCarthy's not hurt right now. And the key to Michigan winning this game is to let JJ be JJ. And I think because of some of the allegations that's come down against Michigan now that they know that there's a tier 1 thing looming out there, big time for them, that they got tier 1 violations. I think they're ultra focused. They were focused before because of the deal with Harbaugh and all the allegations. Now it's let's win one for the coach. So I think that gives them a competitive advantage going into it because they have, in my opinion, they have more to prove than any of the 4 teams that are in the playoff. They have more to prove.
I think that's true. Well, I think that's true. And let me ask one more thing, and not to make this a Michigan show, but as a person who didn't watch many Michigan games, when you say let JJ be JJ, because I was talking to the same gentleman, and I was like, is JJ McCarthy an NFL quarterback? And he was like, I expect him to be a long time backup. What does letting JJ be JJ actually mean? What is his strengths? What is his weaknesses?
JJ McCarthy is a first-round NFL draft pick. I've seen mock drafts with him all the way up as high as 5. I've seen in every mock draft I've seen him in, he's never went lower than 25 or 26. He's a first-round NFL draft pick.
You're saying he's a first-rounder. I've never heard that from anybody else.
Oh, look it up. Google it, look it up, check it out. He's a first-round NFL draft pick.
So let me say this. And I'm this is a no holds barred thing, man. I just want to say the Big Ten beat the Big Ten this year. Y'all didn't beat anybody special. So for me to hear this Michigan narrative, and I can't really. Yeah, they beat Ohio State, and Ohio State was a team to beat. They really were. But I mean, still in all, at this point, I don't expect Michigan to be able to give Alabama any type of fight. And when we were talking about Michigan offense against Alabama defense, Michigan offense, they don't have any special wide receivers. You need to have special wide receivers because Alabama has some special defensive backs, right?
Well, and Alabama has one. One.
Well, no, they got 2. They got the Youngstown safety. They got the Youngstown safety. They got a defensive back over there in Kool-Aid, and the other one's pretty good too. He's gonna go to the league. But hold up. Here's my point. Michigan can run the ball, and they are physical. They've only lost one offensive lineman that's out of this game. There's only one, and the rest are all back. Right,
and so the kid to replace him is better than him, by the way, too. But keep going.
Real quick. As of December 5th, Mo Kiper Jr. has JJ McCarthy as his quarterback number 7.
Yeah,
Todd McShay has him at 20.
He's a first-round NFL draft pick. He's
QB 7. Is the first round NFL draft?
He's not even 7. You'll see, especially once they go to Indianapolis and do what they do over in Indianapolis.
Matt Miller.
JJ McCarthy, let me tell y'all something, man. JJ McCarthy's actually a very special quarterback.
I'm not going to use the word special. I'm not going to use the word special ed.
And I'm going to say this. All that you don't respect. Who has Alabama played?
Hold on. Let me cook, man. I'm
wait.
No, I'll let you finish your point.
Because Alabama ain't got nobody.
We've been talking about Michigan for 9 minutes.
I did cut him off. I did cut that off. So let him finish.
We talked about Michigan for 9 minutes.
Matt Miller's got him going 7 to the Raiders. I mean, I'm telling you,
I've seen it. So, but here's my thing. Like I said, Michigan can run the ball, but it's an imposing of will kind of thing here now. If Michigan can run the ball efficiently, then they can get into a short-range passing game that will kind of elongate the game, right? Shorten it, but elongate it and make it to where they can actually win. But you flip the ball on Michigan's side. Alabama has one receiver that's pretty good, right? Yeah. But
Michigan's got a number one or number 2 corner in the country.
They have not seen a quarterback as mobile and as accurate as Jalen Milroe. And I think I think literally he has
literally second.
Huh?
Who's even second? Like who would be the second best mobile? Kyle McCord?
No, listen. My stat line for that guy Jordan Milroe is 250 in the air, 100 on the ground. And so, I think that's how they beat Michigan. It's going to be on the shoulders of that young man.
Alabama's not seen a defensive line like Michigan's.
What
Michigan has three guys. No, hear me on
Texas.
this.
Michigan has the best defensive line in the country.
Michigan has a 322-pound defensive lineman that runs a 4.6.
Yeah. No,
matter of fact, he runs a 4.58.
They're not as good as Murphy and Sweat.
No. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Oh Murphy Murphy's a first-round NFL draft pick.
No, Sweat.
Sweat is the winner.
No, I got it backwards. Sweat is the big boy. Boy, the guy that caught the pass.
Sweat's the dude that you're
He's a first-round NFL draft pick. Michigan has 4 first-round NFL draft picks. 4.
Not this year.
2 will go this year. 2 will go next year.
Yeah, no. So
I promise you it is.
So Murphy 2 is what you want to say.
Yeah, he got 2, and Murphy will end up going in the first round next year too.
But
so
Michigan
I'm just trying to tell you,
Michigan has a defensive line rotation
so
that is very similar. But we're not talking about Texas versus Michigan. We're talking about Michigan versus Alabama.
You said
Michigan's defensive line rotation is similar to Georgia's of last year. I'm telling you that 7-8 guys that they have are really that good.
Okay, so
really that good.
So what do you see Alabama being able to do to Michigan? Since I've already told you what I think Alabama's going to do.
Alabama's only got.
Since you start first because we hadn't heard you. So how do you think Alabama can hurt Michigan?
People have Alabama the favorite, and I think it's justified. I think they have the advantage at quarterback. I think they have the advantage at the skill positions. I think they have the advantage They have the advantage on the line of scrimmage. I think the reason that Michigan will win is probably what my brother-in-law said. If they control the ball, if they make Jalen Milroe turn over the ball, if they have long-winded, take their time, pound the ball into the ground drives where they dishearten the Alabama defense. Yeah. I think they would have to beat their morale to beat them.
I would agree on that. I would agree. And if
you're not going to beat Michigan's morale.
No.
You're not going to do it.
He's saying if Michigan takes and has long drives against Alabama and kind of beats down their morale and continually owns the line of scrimmage, they can actually take and beat Alabama.
So I watched, and I went back and I actually watched the All-22 film, Georgia versus Alabama. Let me say this, and I actually went back and watched a lot of film of the New Mexico State game and the Auburn game before Alabama played Georgia.
Okay.
Bama caught Georgia beat up. I didn't realize how many guys Georgia was missing for that Alabama-Georgia game until I actually went back and watched the All-22 film. Georgia was missing 2 starters and 1 key reserve off of their front 7. And Bama got explosive plays, like you said, not even explosive plays where it was 3rd down and 7, 3rd down and 8, and they needed Milroe to scramble to get loose, to extend the drive. They're not going to get that on Michigan. They're not going to do it. And that's the only way Bama can win. The only way Bama can win is Milroe's got to go nuts. If Milroe don't go nuts, they're going to lose because that's all they got.
Time out. Why is that the only way Bama can win?
That's Alabama doesn't have a running back that they can line up and run the ball straight at Michigan with. They don't have the kid that they just lost, Cribbs, that's in the NFL. That was their last dog. What we're used to Alabama is Alabama having a stockpile of running backs that can just run at you. They don't have that in Alabama anymore. They have not been able to do that or recruit that. Their starting running back doesn't even have 700 yards.
Jakes McClain and Roydell Williams are both really good running backs.
They're not. This is not. What's his name? What's the name play for the Raiders?
Jacobs.
This is not Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry,
let me
Gibbs. This ain't them. This ain't that.
I got you. Let me ask you this. You don't think that the Alabama defense can make J.J. McCarthy turn the ball over?
Alabama defense has 3 studs. They have 3 studs. One of them's name is Dallas Turner.
Mm-hmm.
That's number 1. Number 1 is Kool-Aid McKinstry. That's a corner.
Yeah.
The other stud that they have is the left weak side linebacker, who, by the way, Michigan has tight ends that are dogs. I.e., that's the whole reason why the kid went to the Cowboys. He got out of there because he knew the dudes behind him was better than him. Their tight ends are dogs.
But if we're focused on my question,
running with those guys. He's going to be running.
If we're focused on my question, do you think that Alabama can turn McCarthy over and win the game like that?
Anybody can turn JJ over because JJ has a tendency to turn himself over. But I think JJ's ultra focused in this game against Alabama. Michigan has more to prove than anybody. They have more to prove.
Yeah, but that's at least 2 ways they could win, right? So the way that you said that they can win, and then by turning JJ McCarthy over, they can also win that way, correct?
Yeah, but Milroe can do the same thing for Bama. Listen, go back, like I said, go back and watch New Mexico State. Go back and watch Auburn. Milroe looked trash.
He's a different quarterback than he was in the early parts of the season.
He definitely is, G. And one thing I can agree with you on this, G, is that he does have the tendency to turn the ball over, and he will make some errant throws from time to time. And that could be an advantage Michigan. If Michigan gets in this thing and starts getting them to turn the ball over, G, I can see where Michigan can win. Now, I'm not saying that it's against the odds at all that Michigan can win. I just believe in my heart of hearts that Alabama's hot, and nobody really want to see them right now.
Alabama's hot.
They're not playing Liberty.
Georgia. They beat Georgia without Blake Bowers. They beat Georgia that was missing 4 defensive starters. That's why Alabama's hot. Alabama's 2 games before then, they should have lost New Mexico State, and they should have lost against Auburn. Auburn had they had a 4th down lucky pass in the corner to beat Auburn. Alabama's not hot like that.
You're hot when you're still winning, though. You're hot when you're still winning.
You're talking about a game at the end of the year, everybody's going to be hurt. Sometimes excuses are just the reason something happens. That's a piece of wisdom I learned in this community.
That's
Sometimes
the whole reason why I'm
excuses
saying
are just
about
the reason
JJ.
something happens.
That's the whole reason I'm saying about JJ.
Everyone
JJ
has injuries at the end of the year. And so if we're saying it's even, I do think Alabama's the better team. I think they have more talent across the board.
Michigan has more NFL players than Alabama right now today. Michigan has more NFL.
Well, let's say, for those of you who are listening, you don't get a chance to see this, but shout out to Big Dirt. He said JJ got 4 picks on the season and is healthy for the first time in a month. He really believes in what.
Listen, it's not like Bama's playing Liberty or Michigan is playing Liberty. They're in the playoff for a reason. It could happen.
Right. It could definitely happen.
I just think it's more likely we see Alabama in the championship than Michigan.
Okay, so here we go. We got Jalen Milroe season stats: 2,718 yards per this season as far as throwing. But what I wanted to highlight.
How many INTs?
What? He has 6. But
how many fumbles?
Well, I don't see that. But I wanted to highlight Jace McClellan has 800 yards this year rushing.
They don't have 1,000. They don't. The guy ain't close.
I mean, that's not trash.
That's
not Alabama.
It's not Alabama, and I would agree.
That's not Alabama.
I would agree.
More like a good back at Oklahoma. Like that's what we're talking about.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah. So to wrap up this Michigan Alabama. G, who you got? You got Michigan winning this game.
I got Michigan. Yeah,
and
I got Michigan gonna blow them out. I think Michigan gonna win.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to. That's what I wanted you to say.
Michigan gonna win by at least 10. Michigan gonna win by at least 10. They're gonna blow them out. They're gonna blow them out.
And there's no bias in this at all.
No,
there's no bias on your side at all.
Is the ultimate Ohio State fan biased for Michigan? I'm talking about what I've seen on
the
film.
Big Ten. That's what I'm saying.
It doesn't matter about the Big Ten. I'm talking about what I've seen on film from the start of the season to the end of the season.
Real quick,
there's a reason why Michigan is number 1.
Let me just ask you real quick. What offensive line outside of Ohio State What defensive line has Michigan seen that is anywhere as good as what they're going to see in the playoffs outside of Ohio State?
Penn State got 3 first-round NFL draft picks, including Chop Robinson.
Man, I don't understand how Chop Robinson, yes, but I don't understand how many people you think can be taken in the first round from one conference.
So look at the going now. You know I've already done my studies for mock drafts.
Got a lot of 60 dudes going in the first round.
A lot of Penn State's first rounders. First of all, Chop's the only guy going pro. The other 2 will be back next year. Michigan only has 2 guys going pro. The other 6 will be back next year.
If you count like that, I could say all of Texas defensive line is going to the NFL in the first round. You can't count like that. You can only count 1 year.
I'm talking about what's available right now.
You can say all those dudes are first round draft picks. They're not until they go.
Well, so hold on. So Big G says that Michigan will win by 10. Sensei, in this game, you got Michigan and Alabama. Who you picking?
I think it would be by 7, Bama.
7 by Bama. And I tend to align with Big G on the sense that I think it's going to be a boat race, and Alabama's going to boat race Michigan. I think it's going to be.
I'll bet both of y'all 15-minute corner time. Michigan beats Bama.
Actually, here's what I was about to say.
I bet both of y'all right now on the show.
Go ahead.
Here's what I was about to say. I actually do want Michigan to win. I think that's the more interesting matchup is Michigan versus Milroe has 2 fumbles, they said. Is Michigan versus Texas. I think I would more want to do that because I want to see. I just want to watch that game with my brother-in-law. But from a fan standpoint, that's what I'm rooting for. But what I actually think is going to happen is Alabama's going to beat them.
So switching gears.
Bet the corner time.
Switching gears.
Because y'all know what time it is.
Switching gears, man. Switching gears. We got Washington versus Texas. This is a rematch of what we saw last year. Yeah. Christian Jones came out and said that the whole team last year was really discombobulated and discouraged when Roschon and Bijan both said that they were sitting out that game, and it really threw the continuity of the Texas offense off. And so
who won that game last year between
Washington won that game by 7.
Hey, so it was 20-27, but it wasn't that close. It was not that close.
What was the final score?
20-27, I believe. It was something we lost by like 7, but it was
we lost by 7, but we came back at the end of the game. It was a comeback at the end of the game. But anyway, give me your take on this, Big G. Let's hear it.
Well, Texas is probably roster for roster the most talented team of the Final 4 remaining. If you look at NFL caliber, so let me say this. I don't know if people know that I really look at this thing that's called blue chip ratio, right? Blue chip ratio is to me what determines you being an upper echelon tier 1 college football team. And I think that the Texas Longhorns have, if not the highest blue chip ratio, the second highest rated blue chip ratio in college sports. So by having that, I think right now that Georgia still has them. But as far as roster to roster, I think it's right now. Next year they won't. Texas won't have. Next year Ohio State will have the blue chip ratio. Blue chip ratio is 4 stars or higher on the roster. Next year Ohio State will have.
We don't have to argue about next year. I just want to know.
Yeah, no, we have to. But
as of today, if Texas doesn't have it, I think Georgia does. So blue chip ratio, unless you're a program like Michigan that does more development of getting players that fit a specific role and then you mold them into that guy, blue chip ratio is what matters when you start having matchups like Washington and Texas, because both teams' blue chip ratio is extremely high. So what it comes down to in the game between Texas and Washington is, what do your blue chip players do in the big moments? I think that Texas's offense, now if they would have Brooks, I think this was a run.
Let's stop right there, because I want to get into the dichotomy of what you was about to spit. You was about to spit some stuff. last year's stats and last year doesn't really matter. Washington is just as good as they were last year. They were 11-2. Texas was 8-5, and that game was 27-20. Quinn Ewers threw for 369 yards, while Michael Penix Jr. threw for 287 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Right, and we didn't have a running game at all. It was 8 carries for 27 yards. As a matter of fact, in the total yards, it was 420 to 445. But rushing, we only had 51 yards, right? So you look at those two teams from a year ago, and you see them as both being better. Washington being more polished in their passing game, Texas being better overall. So Sensei, as we're coming into this, give me your assessment of this game. Let me know how you're feeling about both teams as a whole.
In the last Horns and Son, I told you that I was watching Washington games from this year, and he did. Bijan did not play in the bowl game last year.
Neither did Roschon.
Not yet. So it was the Jonathan Brooks show. I told you I was watching a lot of Washington games, and all I learned really was they're as good as advertised. Their defense is not good, but Penix and the offense, Adugie, all them dudes are the truth. Right?
They didn't have Roschon Johnson last year either, the running back for Washington.
Well, now
he's a monster.
This is if we get into what we've seen from Texas, right? If I'm going to put on my cautious Texas fan hat and say, all right, is the defense going to be able to stop Penix? This is what it really comes down to: is can T'Vondre Sweat get to Penix and cause any type of discomfort? And I think the answer to that is yes. If the answer to that is yes, then I got Texas. If T'Vondre Sweat and Byron Murphy and the defensive line is going to get to Penix all game, I got Texas, because that's really it. It really comes down to how Penix performs and how T'Vondre Sweat performs, because the defense isn't going to be a factor. UW's defense is going to be a factor.
You better pray Texas defensive line can get to him, because number 28 for y'all is cooked. If not, 28 is trash.
I'm not. Jared Thompson.
He is trash.
Jared Thompson is a used napkin. He really is. He write his name on toilet.
Hey man, all our people that watch us, that's why you guys got to go to Patreon and get a subscription and go back and watch these games, and you'll be able to identify links so fast. Yeah. You'll be like, wait a minute, this dude is the scrub. They're going to keep going after him. And 28 is that dude for Texas. He's a bum.
Here's the this boy say he's a bum. Here's the deal. And then I'm gonna let G cook, because he's been ready. Wait. Here's the deal. You have to see this way. And Sensei has a valid point. Michael Penix Jr., 73% when there's no pass rush in his face.
Facts.
Michael Penix Jr. with a pass rush in his face, 43.
Facts.
You see what happens? So this game is predicated on what Pete does. Pete doesn't need to rely on T'Vondre Sweat or Murphy or Baron Sorrells or what's my youngster over there on the other side, Sensei?
Ethan Burke.
Yeah, he needs to send pressure from everywhere. He needs to simulate so much pressure that Michael Penix Jr. doesn't know where it's coming from, right?
And I think, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're all right. You go ahead.
I think if we're dealing with it on a personal level, Stark used to be the UW coach, and this being the team that beat them pretty handedly last year, I think this Texas team wants to get their lick back. Like I just think that they are too talented. And this is just the right. They didn't get to. They didn't. He said, "I'm rooting for Washington just because I like Penix." I understand. He's a likable dude, but they didn't get to get their lick back on Oklahoma. I think they want to get their lick back on Washington.
Yeah. And go ahead, G. Go ahead and cook, man. And what I need for you to tell me is who you got in this game. So go ahead, cook, and tell me who you got.
I think the game comes down to the quarterback position on both sides. I think that if If Michael Penix Jr. is able to do what he did all year, then y'all gonna have a lot of problems. But on the same side, that Quinn Ewers is able to show how he showed in certain games, because he didn't show like all year like how he showed. But certain games, like in the Alabama game, how he showed out.
In the last 3 games.
In the Big 12 championship game, how he showed out.
Last 3 games he showed out.
You know, if he does that, then it's going to be a shootout. Because I think that both teams have, and that's why I was getting about that the blue chip ratio. Guys, there's blue chip guys on both sides, offensive and defensively. And blue chip players have a tendency to play big in big time games. That's why they're rated blue chip, because they show up when the lights are the brightest.
Right.
But the deal is this, man. In my opinion, how Texas can get beat, they don't like teams running straight at them. They don't like that. From my assessment of them, they don't enjoy teams running straight at them. They don't enjoy that.
Where did you see that in the film? Like, who are you talking about specifically?
So this is what I saw at the very beginning of the Oklahoma State Texas game. Oklahoma State don't have a quarterback. He is probably the worst, trashiest quarterback I've ever seen in my life. Right?
Yeah, he's not it.
But they were able to like hit it on them, but they didn't have that play action that could keep them honest. So against Ollie Gordon. So with Roschon Johnson, the running back for Washington.
No, Roschon was Texas.
His last name's Johnson. That's the running back for Washington. Johnson, the running back for Washington, and Ollie Gordon are like sort of very similar running backs. The difference is that Penix can pull that sucker on an RPO and or off schedule and or pull up and just like, whoa. You see what I'm saying?
If we're being real, this is the best. And this should have been something that you said, Uncle G. I can't, like, I'm not sure why you did. Maybe you were building to it, but I can't believe you missed it. This is the best offense we've played this whole year. It's not even
I was
close.
going to that. Okay, believe me, I was headed that way. And that's why I think that.
And his name is Dylan Johnson.
Dylan Johnson. That's why it comes down to the quarterback play. Now, this is the deal about Ewers, right? Ewers can make a whole lot of money over the next 2 weeks, over the next 7 to 14 days. Quinn Ewers can make so much money that it's ridiculous, because he can play himself into a first-round NFL draft pick by playing well, right?
Yeah, I agree with you.
So the deal is going to be which quarterback is going to show up. I think the team that has the ball last wins. Whoever, if it's Texas or Washington, whoever has the ball last is going to win this game. Because I think that from a serviceable standpoint, their offenses can't be matched, in my opinion, on both sides of the ball.
If I'm honest, Uncle Sean, I'm hoping it does not get to that at all.
I don't think it will. Here's the deal. We can stop their offense more times than they can stop ours. I think it ends up coming down to who can stop who the most, and we can stop them more time. We will stop them more times than they stop us.
Can Texas beat themselves though? That's what Ewers can lay eggs.
Can beat, but so can Penix. I mean,
no, dog.
We've seen Penix do it.
Penix is going to show up. He's there right now.
Yeah,
Penix is going to show up.
Yeah, he's going to show up, but he can beat it any given Sunday. I mean, any given day that you go out there and you lace him up and you strap it on. But I'm just going to let you know something. Texas is at least 10 points better than Washington. Give me your prediction on this. Who you think got winning the game?
I got the Longhorns winning, but like 30-27. And got to score late to get the dub. But I'm gonna put an asterisk by this. If Quinn Ewers has more than one turnover, y'all lost. If Ewers turns the ball over more than one time, he can get one. But if he gives up two, y'all lost. Ain't no ifs, ands, buts about it.
Wow, I didn't think of it this way. I'm gonna say something maybe controversial, but it's exactly how I feel. Texas is 2 turnovers better than Washington. We can turn the ball over twice and win.
Yeah, and win. And win. You want to know why?
2 turnovers better.
Offensively, we still got enough to overcome it. And defensively, we got enough to overcome it. You know what I'm saying? It's just a matter. You said it. You said a mouthful when you said blue chips show up. And a lot of these kids that went to Texas are blue chips. And they're going to show up. You know what I'm saying? And you're playing us in the South. Washington came down here, and they're playing us in the South. But so you got Texas winning. I got Texas winning. Sensei, who you got winning?
I have Texas winning. What I would like to see, if we're doing what I want to see, like how I want Michigan to win, I would like Texas to make it not a ball game. I'm talking about 14 to 17 points. What I think is going to happen is probably what Big G said earlier, which is it comes down to who has the ball last. And I don't want that to be a thing.
Yeah.
So
I don't think we're sleeping on Washington, Claude. Like I don't think we're putting enough respect on Washington.
If Destiny has ever been a thing, Destiny is on the side of Michael Penix Jr. If Destiny has ever been a thing, if it's really a thing, it's on his side. If that's the case,
I don't know. So we got Texas. I have Texas versus Bama. Sean, Big G has Michigan versus Texas.
Yep.
And Sensei has Texas versus Alabama. Who do you have winning it all, Big G? I'm gonna let you go.
The Michigan Wolverines.
So you got Michigan Wolverines winning it and then having the title taken back from.
I need to ask you a question because you're the only person that's doing this. I think you're doing it for a reason. Who's the best team in the tournament?
The best roster is Texas, but I think Michigan is
the best team in the tournament.
It's not about who the best team is, who's the best roster. The best team.
Who thinks the best team?
If you say TEAM, team, Michigan. Michigan is focused,
I thought you were going to say.
Michigan, man.
Again.
But
why?
Talent,
why do you feel that way? Nobody else feels that way.
They are ultra focused, man. They are ultra focused. The one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to play a team that's pissed off. And Michigan is pissed off, man. They are pissed off.
Who pissed?
The NCAA, let's start with the NCAA and work your way down. How many people they're pissed off at? Start with the NC2A and work your way down.
And I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. And that should be the narrative going into these games this weekend. But just like Proof was just saying here, when they announced that Alabama was finna play Michigan, you could hear a rat pissing on cotton. It was really.
They're not scared.
It was really that quiet.
Matter of fact,
they really wanted Florida State more than they wanted Alabama.
Let me tell you something about Bama, right? And this is what I know from our experience playing Bama. Because I don't think nobody's played Bama as much as us, outside of Georgia. Bama's thing is, Bama tries to be a bully. You know how bullies get. When bully know you scared, a bully will act up and talk mess to you, yeah. Michigan ain't going to be scared. And so when Bama sees that they can't bully Michigan, Bama going to be like, wait a minute, dog. Wait a minute. Because Michigan will never get scared ever. Trust and I believe they're never going to get scared.
There was a little bit of an intimidation factor when they read the name off. You said Michigan wins it all. I got Texas winning it all and getting ready to two-peat. Who you got, Sensei? Who you got?
I bet you a whole show that Texas don't two-peat.
Listen, in order to two-peat, you have to one-peat first. So let's focus on that.
That's absolutely correct. That's
what I was going to ask you.
Thank you. Talk some sense into it.
Who's the best team in the tournament?
Texas.
TEAM, Michigan.
Texas.
Okay, you're saying Texas. Okay. If I have to answer that question too, it's either Alabama or Texas, and that's why I have them in the championship. And I don't know at that point. I don't know. If you're putting a gun to my head, I'm going to pick Texas because that's my team. I'm rocking with them. But I have no clue.
Y'all
Michigan
give Alabama
comes
too
short,
much credit,
comes
bro.
up short every year. They're no threat. That's what Proof said. I mean, is he a liar? Nah.
This ain't Alabama from 2, 3, 4 years ago, y'all. I keep trying to tell y'all. This ain't that Bama. This ain't them, bruh. I'm trying to tell you. They're not them.
It's not. I'm not saying that they're the invisible bully they were before. They're not. They're absolutely not. They're not too deep. They're not too deep monsters where they got pros sitting just as good as their first. They don't have that anymore.
Every team this year has flaws. There's flaws in none of these are LSU.
Everybody got bumps. Everybody got bumps this year. It is what it is. Everybody got acne. Yeah. There's no pretty girl. But I will tell you, without a shadow of a doubt, that Alabama team is ready and poised and playing some good football right now. As of right now,
they had one game against Georgia, and they didn't play great against Georgia. But go back and watch the 2 games before, New Mexico State and Auburn, and you're going to see how trash Bama actually is.
Well, New Mexico State is a good team. Like
New Mexico State is horrible.
New Mexico State beat Auburn.
New Mexico State was horrible.
Am I thinking of the same New Mexico State? They beat Auburn earlier in the season.
So I don't listen. I understand the only loss that really count in this tournament right now is the loss that Alabama suffered to Texas. That's because those are commonalities, right?
That's the only loss out of the 4 teams.
Right. So, well, no, Texas got the loss.
USA Championship this year as well. Now they got the doors blew off them by Fresno State in the bowl game in New Mexico. So who knows?
Well,
who knows? But they did.
Here's my thing, and Proof makes a good point too. He said Georgia was suspect all year.
Facts. Georgia was suspect. They trashed.
They're like we said, everybody has bumps this year. There's no pretty girl. There's no Miss America in these 4 teams. But I think honestly the best 4 teams are here. I could see what G is saying happening. I could see Michigan beating Bama. There's a door that Michigan and Sensei kind of detailed that really well. If Michigan takes the air out the ball, keeps Jordan Milroe off the field, and they just run it down their throat and go on these long 15, 16 play drives and score every time, Michigan can win that football game. But if this game gets 21 points out of 14 to 17 points out of Michigan, it's over.
So let me ask you a question. If you had to pick between Milroe and J.J. McCarthy, who's going to make the mistake?
J.J. McCarthy.
Heck no. McCarthy didn't make no mistakes all year.
It's not because of McCarthy. It's because of the other side of the ball, right? For me, that's why I agree with Sensei. The other side of the ball is better. Milroe is playing a weaker defense than
No, Michigan has the number 1 defense in the country behind Ohio State.
Yeah,
Stop it.
The Big Ten ain't just some big woolly bully monster.
That's bias, bro. That's bias.
Big Ten only beat the Big Ten this year, bro.
Who?
Give me a signature win from the Big Ten all year outside, because you can't say Notre Dame.
Give me the signature win that the SEC has. Then, since we're going to tell me what game the SEC won.
But I'm asking you.
Ohio State beat Notre Dame. Ohio State beat Notre Dame. But the SEC don't have no signature wins. 0. I mean, the SEC out of the top 4 conferences finished 4 and 6 against other teams.
Missouri beat Kansas State for sure. That's not a terrible team.
Man. Come on, dog.
So we're talking about J.J. McCarthy, right? Who has 19 touchdowns this year, 4 interceptions.
He had 3 of them in one game. He had 3 in one game.
J.J. McCarthy?
He had 3 against Bowling Green State University. He won all the rest of the games.
He's a veteran quarterback. He should be taking care of the ball.
He's a junior.
What I am saying is, we're not talking about like a 30, 25 touchdown dude. Like, he's fallible. He makes mistakes. And
he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to, because they're gonna run Edwards and Corum down your throat.
Well, the question was, do you think that J.J. McCarthy
Milroe will make a mistake way before McCarthy. Milroe will make a huge mistake.
Okay, I understand. I respect that. It's not as clear, but what I'm saying is Milroe, I think, has a higher ceiling. I think Milroe has a higher ceiling, which is why I'm taking him.
I don't know about that, man. I don't know about.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna give B-Dirt some shine on this, ladies and gentlemen. If you're listening over the internet right now, I'm gonna give B-Dirt some shine. He said that's because of the offensive play calling, not the quarterback. It's not J.J. McCarthy. And I will believe that all day long, having watched some Michigan games.
Ask the live chat.
I think some of the offensive play calling for J.J. McCarthy was kind of bland.
That's a great question. Who do y'all got? Milroe or McCarthy?
Between Milroe and McCarthy, who's going to make the mistake?
Yeah, before we go, live chat, tell us who you got making the first mistake in the Alabama game.
Milroe.
And then let's ask who y'all got making the first mistake out of the Texas-Washington game. So is it going to be Milroe?
Y'all got yours, y'all got Milroe McCarthy. Who do y'all like?
Yeah, we want definitely want to hear from you guys. Do you think Milroe makes the first mistake or J.J. McCarthy? Or do you think Quinn Ewers makes the first mistake, or is it going to be Michael Penix Jr.? We want to know these things. Big G, parting shots, man. Tell me what you got, man. Holla at me real quick. And make sure you shout out the things that you're doing on FFSN Network.
So party shots is this. I think that, in my opinion, I think that they were about 90% correct, 95% correct for the Final Four college football teams. I would have liked to see Florida State in, and now you've seen this mass exodus of Florida State players going to the NFL, not going to play in the bowl game. So that's not who Florida State is. But I think that they wanted it necessarily not about the best four. They wanted the most competitive game that could sell the tickets. And I think this is going to set up moving forward, because really what you have is two SEC teams versus two Big Ten teams. Washington's in the Big Ten, Michigan's in the Big Ten, Bama's in the SEC, Texas is in the SEC. And I think moving forward with the 12-team playoff committee, that you're going to see a plethora of 4 and 5 teams from the SEC, 4 and 5 teams from the Big Ten, and whoever's left gets in, because this is what's going to sell tickets. So I think that that's why they set this up, because this is a preview of a coming attraction for what playoff football is going to look like moving forward, with all this big changes to the 12 team for the championship.
I love it, G. That's really good. I love it. And you don't get good takes from G like that often. You got to applaud his good takes. That was a really good take, man. Sensei, give me your parting shot. Oh, wait. Big G, tell us where they can find you at, man, and what shows you do.
So please make sure you check me out on Fans First Sports Network, Level Up Podcast with me and Andy P, where we talk about all college football all the time. We got some film study stuff jumping off. We got some breakdown stuff. We're going to be doing stuff with the Syracuse guys, the Ohio State guys, the Michigan State guys. We got a lot going on Level Up Podcast. So our shows will be more random. You're going to get more than one a week. Might get 2-3 shows a week moving forward because of the demand for the Level Up College Football Preview. Also, make sure you check out me, Tate Boy Fresh, and our boy Shannon on the Pump Your Brakes podcast. Wednesday night show was off the hook, man. So make sure you go back and check that on FFSN and Steel Curtain Network. You can also check me, Tate Boy Fresh, Payday, and B-Dirt on the Homies podcast and the Homies Overtime podcast tomorrow at 7 versus tomorrow at 8. Because Ohio State plays at 8, we're going to jump on and do this show at 7, run an overtime for a little bit, and we're going to get out of there so we can watch the Ohio State-Missouri game. And then last but not least, yes, sir.
Does the Ohio State game actually mean anything this year?
Oh, no, we'll talk about
it. Means a lot.
But finish what you're saying.
And then make sure that you check out myself, Mod, and Take Boy Fresh on the Know It Alls podcast Sundays at 6, where we talk about everything. We didn't even run a live show And we had 150 plus people watch our 50th anniversary hip hop show, which was an outstanding show. And we thank all you guys for watching and rocking with it, because we had a lot of folks actually watch it and talk about it. And I've gotten feedback from it. They said they love the show. Last but not least, we're transitioning from football to basketball. That's Rather Cavaliers, Cleveland Cavaliers podcast on FFSN. You can check me, Tate Boy Fresh, and the youngster Relly Hall, because we're going to be jamming and rocking out on there because it's basketball season, and you know how we get out on basketball. You can listen to all of our podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and you can watch us on YouTube. So thank you guys for rocking with us for sure, moving forward in 2024.
All right. Sensei, man, it's your time. Give us your parting shots. Get it. Let's get it and get it in.
Luka was responsible for 90 points the other night. That was wild. But
and he's still trash.
Yeah. My parting shot is I think Texas 2 turnovers better than Washington. Burn Orange Nation going forward. That should make you feel better. Like, that should make you feel more secure in this game. Let's take care of our business, boys. You can find me at We Are Chosen, all one word. X is where the O is supposed to be on Instagram, on YouTube. We got some Burn Orange boys coming and some Mom Sports coming.
Yeah, man, and we thank you guys for watching and listening. It was an honor and a pleasure to have him. I give my brother the business, man, but he knows a little bit about college, but I'm gonna give him, he's knowledgeable about a little bit of stuff. You know what I'm saying? But it was an honor and a privilege to have my brother on the show today with us, man, on Texas Fight. We're gonna do it more often, so get used to hearing his voice, because he knows a lot about college football. I am super happy, of course, thank you guys for being here with us. Thank you for listening. Thank you for all of your support. Make sure that you smash that like button. Make sure that you like and subscribe. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe on YouTube and Twitch so that when we go live, you'll definitely get those notifications. This is another one of the shows that I'm a part of, Texas Fight, Horns and Son on the FFSN network. And of course, you got DC4L. We are Dallas Cowboys for life. That's another part. And then the know-it-alls. I mean, that's where everything goes. And this is a part of the Know-It-All Nation. So we appreciate you guys for rocking with us. We thank you for listening. And definitely we're going to get out of here. But me and G will see you guys again soon before the new year is up. All right, we out of here. Peace.
Hook 'em.